What about man is on a long business trip for 3 months and he goes to a prostitute?
If he tells me beforehand, I don't think I'll really be opposed to it. But if he tells me afterwards, it's a bit weird. And if he doesn't tell me at all, I will feel very bad about it. But if he asks me before, like, can I go there? Like, do you mind? I don't see an issue. Like, I don't really care.
Ah, so there's a difference between just the sex and then actually loving someone.
Yeah, like if it's just because he really needs it, but he tells me beforehand, I don't care.
You wouldn't say, why don't you just look at some images and take care of your business yourself?
If he asks me to go to a prostitute, it's because he thought about it beforehand. So there's no point in kind of changing his mind.
Wow, okay. This is interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Sean. So these days, the topic of what is considered cheating is kind of trending. So I got curious and decided to ask people from all around the world what they consider cheating. Is watching a movie with someone else when you already have a romantic partner cheating? How about having a drink? How about flirting with someone at work? How about hiring a prostitute? I asked all of these questions to people from all around the world, and believe me, this was a very interesting video. Also, if you're currently studying English, I highly recommend you join my channel membership. Without further ado, let's begin. Hey, how's it going? Where are you from?
I'm from Washington State.
Today I'm just talking to people to find out where's the line when it comes to like your romantic partner. What's cheating, what's not cheating. So you have a, significant other. Can they drink with another girl, have a drink?
Yeah, they can, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
No worries.
They will consider it cheating if you don't tell your partner. That kind of shows that you don't want to tell them, so maybe there's a reason why.
If they're friends, just friends, it's fine.
I don't consider that cheating, but if they go to the girl place or to some hotel or to some private place, for me that's cheating.
Yeah.
Like if you know, like you start to behave strange after some drinks, like maybe you should just have one, and that's all.
But if it's maybe with her friends and there's other guys there, then I'll be like, okay. But if it's just one-on-one, definitely not.
They better be friends for 10 years at least.
I really don't care. For me, it's normal. I don't care.
You can be drunk and having tons of fun and laugh a lot, and that does not equal cheating.
I had a bunch of Korean girls telling me that they can't really trust me because I'm French. So they're scared I'm gonna cheat on them. Yeah, actually.
And do you think that's a fair thing to say or totally unfair?
No, I think it's of course unfair.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the line is kind of shady in France.
What about going to the movie theaters alone with someone else?
If it's a romantic movie, I'll find it weird. But if it's just like an Avengers movie type, I don't care.
When it's one-on-one, it can be a little bit weird, but if it's like childhood best friends, that they've been best friends for like a long time, and it's like, they grew up together, so it's like, they're really good friends.
Movie theater is okay, but like at home or
No Netflix.
yeah, Netflix and chill. Yeah.
The two of them.
Correct.
I don't think that's cheating, but it's kinda, if I give you 3 lives, okay, you're losing one of them.
If they're like really cool friends, then I think there's nothing wrong with that. But if it's just like some random girl, I wouldn't agree with that.
So drinking at a bar is more okay than going to the cinema?
And in a bar, there's more people, and you are not sitting alone at all.
I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't do that with another girl either.
Well, same actually. I don't care. For me, trust is everything.
I don't think I would do it unless it's a girl I know from a long time.
How about dancing with a guy?
I don't know if I'd call it cheating, but I wouldn't like it.
I can imagine like this sexy dance together. Okay, excuse me, but no. Like, I'm your girlfriend. Why you thought she's so close with other girl? Like, no way. Okay. It's not cheating, but it's kind of like, you're stupid. Like, come to your sense, bro.
Yeah, and you know what's in the other guy's mind? When
exactly,
he's dancing with a girlfriend, I wouldn't like it.
Even if she's like a professional salsa dancer?
Oh. If tomorrow my hobby is dancing, I hope my girlfriend allows me to dance with other girls. So same for her, I guess.
Sure.
I think that would depend. Like if your girlfriend doesn't want to dance at all, that's okay. Like you can just find someone else to dance. But if your girlfriend is there and you decide to just dance with another girl, it's a bit weird. That's a bit weird.
For example, if you're like dancing salsa or something like that, which is very like a common type of dancing, you wouldn't like look at it that bad. Yeah. But I think if it's more like reggaeton type of dancing,
club booty dance.
Yeah, that type of dancing is a bit more like, I'm not sure if I want you to dance with another person. That
makes sense.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't mind.
Little booty grinding is okay?
Yeah, I mean, just for like, you know, like have fun in the club with other people, it's okay.
I'm not gonna consider cheating. No.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's before the line.
Yeah.
What about traveling alone together with another guy?
I wouldn't call it cheating, but I wouldn't like it for sure.
Yeah, same. If it's somebody like she trusts and I can trust, why not? That's not cheating for sure. But same, I wouldn't feel so comfy about it.
Never, never, ever. Like, don't even ask me. Like, you ask me and you're gonna be die. I mean,
Yeah, I guess that's kind of too much. I don't know.
Definitely not.
Even if they're just friends?
Yeah, definitely not. No
No.
chance. You know, people can get closer, especially if they're together, alone a lot of the time. So it's just maybe not necessarily because one of them's not nice or anything like that, but maybe because they can develop a closer connection that way. So it's just because the potential connection's there. That would be why I wouldn't like it.
I do not approve of that. No.
Is that cheating?
No, I wouldn't consider that cheating, but I feel like it can lead up to cheating. Because what's the point of you going to Japan? Why? Just like why?
if you really wanna have fun with someone in a trip, why are you going with your female friend or with this female girl and not with me? Like, I cannot understand it.
Okay, now the spicy question.
Okay.
Your boyfriend's like away for 3 months in another country. Says, hey, can I just hire a prostitute? Just transaction.
Right.
Done. Get it out of my system. Then I come home to you.
I think that's cheating. That's cheating. Yeah, that's definitely cheating. Yeah. I'm in the military, right? So if I deploy for 9 months, I don't think that gives the right, like, oh, I just need to get off real quick. I don't think that's a right thing. I think that's considered cheating all the way, 110%. And then you're going to pay for it on top of that. So it's just like, no, I don't agree with that.
If he tells me beforehand, I don't think I'll really be opposed to it. But if he tells me afterwards, it's a bit weird. And if he doesn't tell me at all, I will feel very bad about it. But if he asks me before, like, can I go there? Like, do you mind? I don't see an issue. Like, I don't really care.
Ah, so there's a difference between just the sex and then actually loving someone.
Yeah, like if it's just because he really needs it, but he tells me beforehand, I don't care.
You wouldn't say, why don't you just look at some images and take care of your business yourself?
If he asks me to go to a prostitute, it's because he thought about it beforehand. So there's no point in kind of changing his mind.
Wow, okay. This is interesting. Okay.
I know that like, oh no, like prostitution is not, it's not cheating. It is cheating. At least from the way I see it, it is cheating.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, definitely not.
No, I don't know. No, that's kind of too much, I guess.
You know, you can masturbate yourself. Like, why? If you have like problem that you really cannot hold in, okay, then go to see a doctor and get some pills. Because I think everyone can hold it. Like, if you really love someone, that is your husband or your boyfriend, then you can hold it. If you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter. And if you cannot, then I think you have just problem, like sexual problem.
But don't you think men and women are a bit different sexually?
Yeah, for that is kind of true. Like, I think women, we can stand it more than men. Like, men have, of course, more testosterone and more everything. So I accept that it can be harder for men to hold it. But still, I think everyone can hold it at some point.
Definitely
Yeah.
not. No.
That's a big no, of course.
Big no.
Yeah.
I had this conversation before with a partner. I used to think that's something I would be fine with, talking about it and like actually thinking about the stuff happening. Now I know that no, I can't. It's just it doesn't make sense. I had it offered to me. Like I was allowed to do it if I wanted to. I didn't. No, that doesn't feel right. That's not me, and I don't like it. Even though I thought I wanted, but no. So now it would be kind of the same. If my partner asked me about that, I would be like, well, if you really, really want to, I don't think I'm into that. So I would better like cut it off.
Sure. Is there a difference between sex and love? What if he's like, oh, we just had sex, but I don't love her at all? Versus he didn't have sex with this girl, but you can clearly see his heart is going towards her.
Okay, then...
Which one's worse?
Well, okay, the second one is worse. If his love is going toward other girl, okay, that's 100% cheating. Now that you say that, yes, that would be also cheating. Like, yeah, but for me it's worse because if you had sex with some other girl, that's, you know, like more like physical stuff. But if it's like you love her, I cannot control your heart. If you had sex with other girl, I can be angry and we can even get some solution like that.
Maybe you can overcome it, maybe?
Maybe I could if I really love you, but I don't want to stop your freedom neither. So if your love is to someone else, I'm not gonna stop that. Like I cannot.
And I'm kind of the person that it is sad to say, you do something wrong, I'm gonna do it back. It's not right, but if we're gonna go see past it, I probably have to get my get back.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get your get out of jail free card.
Right, yeah, yeah. There's no like real reason on why you did that. Like there's no like, oh, I was lonely. Okay, we could have FaceTimes. Oh, this, I don't know.
So you get your get out of jail free card, and then you do what you do, and then is it even?
I think it is gonna be even, but it's gonna always be like
Some tension.
yeah, you might do it again. So.
Trust issue.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Sure.
I've never been cheated on and I've never cheated on, so maybe if
Cheers
that
to
happens,
that. Yeah.
I'll change my answers. But for now, no idea.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that. Relationships are not effortless. You have to put work in.
It's not like, you want to be my girlfriend? Okay,
And it's
we're
just
dating.
Disney movie, right? No, it's
No,
not
you
like
need
that.
to keep.
Sure.
You want this passion to keep going, you know? Like you cannot let it die. The love is gonna be down, and then makes all the sense that the guy or the girl is gonna look to someone else.
What if your partner's like, hey, there's this really cool dude who I really want to learn a lot of stuff from. He's like very smart business-wise, similar to my field of work. I gotta pick his brain. What would be the best way to do that?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, because
That's a
it's a
tough one.
legit scenario, right?
Yeah, of course, because
There could be like a legit expert that like
yeah,
she
that you
could
want to
learn
hear
from.
more from, but
Like a mentor.
yeah, but I don't want them to keep meeting up in private. Maybe if there's like a group meeting or something, maybe a little bit better, but private meetings, I wouldn't really like that.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Did you enjoy this video? If so, please let me know in the comments down below. Once again, I'm Sean, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.